What's up, everybody? Chris back again. I hope you guys are doing great. Today, you know what we're going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about a little bit of Sympathy for the Devil, directed by Yuval Adler from 2023. This stars Joel Kinnaman, Nicolas Cage. And those are really kind of our only two actors in this film worth their salt that chew up the scenery. Now, anybody who's anybody knows Nicolas Cage is a generational talent. He is a gem. He is one of those actors that even when he has a bad performance, it's good. You know what I mean? At least for me, anyway. A lot of people hate Nicolas Cage movies because they think that he's a terrible actor, but guess what? The guy won an Oscar, so he ain't that bad. Um, I think he just fell on some hard times and kind of lost his mind a little bit, but that makes him a little cooler in my book. Uh, anyway, so this stars both of those guys that I said, Joel Kinnaman, Nicolas Cage, and it's very it's an interesting movie. It's very intense at times. The writing is superb. The delivery of this dialogue from Nicolas Cage is amazing. But the story itself is purposefully kind of ambiguous. It doesn't tell you a whole lot. It doesn't fill you in. All you know is a guy is supposed to be getting to the hospital for his wife's delivery, and as he's getting ready to get out, a guy gets in his back seat, holds him at gunpoint, tells him to drive. So, the first 30 minutes is him basically being like, hey man, I'm trying to get back to my wife. What do you want me for? Yada yada. And Nicolas Cage is superb. We all know he plays crazy very well because I think he probably is a little crazy. But he plays it so well and he plays crazy so straight because you can't tell the difference. He's intense, he's sinister, he's malevolent, but he's also funny. He's compassionate. I mean, his acting in this, it just goes the whole gamut of range. You know what I mean? He has scenes where he's like losing it, and you're like, oh my god, what's he gonna do? And the thing that I loved about this is, you're expecting when you watch some movies like this, you expect a lot of like kind of like shocking twist moments, like oh, whoa, there wasn't a lot of those, but there's one big uh I say there's not a lot of those. You know how when let's put it this way. I'm trying to think of how to like illustrate this for you guys. In a movie when a bad guy when a good guy has a bad guy kind of at gunpoint, and the bad guy's just running his mouth, and he's giving the villain monologue, and the good guy just kind of sits there and waits for him to finish before doing anything. This movie basically, I don't know how to abolishes that trope. Put it that way. They do away with it because there are scenes where you're like the guy's like, I'm about to blah blah, and you just wham, something happens, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. It has like several of those scenes, but the intensity that leads up to those moments from Nicolas Cage is great. I mean, because there's moments where he's quiet, he's settled, he's not doing anything, and all of a sudden, boom, he explodes into like a tantrum, and it's so much fun to watch. It's fun to watch him on screen, and Joel Kinnaman, his character is probably the best because he plays. Well, I say his is the best. They're equal. Both characters are equal. Really good characters, really well written characters. Joel Kinnaman's character is, he's very quiet and subdued, but you can tell from his eyes and his facial expressions, there's like uh, this underlying mood of rage. There's like this seething rage or this like quiet contempt that he has. Like you don't know, is he all together there, or like because it's one of those films where where once you realize that there's like something going on between him and Nicolas Cage, or there's some perceived thing going on between the two of them, you're like, what am I not getting? What am I not understanding about this character what can't I figure out about him makes me so uneasy with his presence. You know what I mean? And that excellent writing again, because and acting, because you couldn't put your finger on it, but you knew that something was off about Joel Kinnaman's character, and I like that. Again, it kind of subverts expectation of those moments in films where you're like, why didn't the guy just shoot him while he was talking? Well, there you go. It subverts that expectation. Why didn't he? Well, he does in this kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's very shock oriented when you're so used to movies playing out one way, and this one kind of plays out a different way than you expected. And I love that, because again, how many of us have seen movies that we just figured out in the first like 5 or 10 minutes, and then we're like, oh, I knew that going into the credits. You're like, well, I kind of figured that out already. Well, this one, you get an inkling, but when the big thing happens, when the big twist happens, you're like, oh, that was deeper than I thought it was. And so I loved that. I gave Sympathy for the Devil 3.5 stars out of 5. You can watch it on AMC Plus. That's where it's streaming at. And, if you want to check it out, I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Nick Cage fan or a Joel Kinnaman fan. They both turn in really good performances here. And as always, guys, I'm going to keep making them. If you keep watching them, check me out over on Facebook at the Cinema Dolce Facebook group. Find me on TikTok. Check me out there too, guys. And click like and subscribe here too. You guys have a great day. God bless. Peace out.